Hey everybody, Brian Hall here from Electrical Tech Skills. Today we're going to talk a little bit about troubleshooting electric motors. This is the first video of a three-part series, and today we'll talk about how to identify when we have a shorted motor winding. Now if we think about electric motors, really an electric motor is just nothing more than a coil of wire. In fact, there's really three coils of wire. Let's call it 6 coils of wire. And generally when we look at electric motors on wiring diagrams, these sorts of things, typically this is how they're depicted. And so really what we have here are 6 coils of wire, and these coils of wire are identical. And so what we can do using an ohm meter is measure between those coils of wire. So if we measured between coil 1 here, 1 and coil 2, and we measured the resistance between those 2 coils of wire there, we see about 2 ohms on our ohm meter. If these coils of wire are identical, if we measure between 2 and 3, the reading should be 2 ohms as well. If we measured between T1, or let's call it T3 there, we should see 2 ohms, right? So they're all identical, and so a healthy motor, the resistance between those readings would be the same. Generally speaking, they should be within about 10% of one another. Now, if we had a motor that had a malfunction, such as a winding was shorted, so in a lot of cases the windings can overheat, the windings are separated by varnish on the wiring, and that varnish insulation can break down and create shorts in the wiring. And so this would be a depiction of a shorted winding. So if we were to measure between T1 and T2 there, the resistance would be, let's call it 2 ohms. Now if we measured between T1 and T3, because we have a short in the winding, the resistance is going to be less. So if we saw less resistance between T1 and T3, or T3 and T2, because we also have a shorted winding there, then we would know that we have a short circuit, right? Again, what we're looking for really is to make sure that the readings between the coils are all the same. If these are drastically lower than one of the other readings, we've got a shorted motor.